I get things in order here.
I'm just going
Are
to
we
sit
doing
this
final
up
or
there.
test review?
That's cool.
Final.
Okay.
Final.
Is anybody down there talking to her right now? Sean?
Oh, it's not gonna go at all.
I know. And I know that there's a limit to time, so if you need us to stop and come.
I don't think there is.
There's not? Okay.
I've had like 2 hour lectures on there.
Okay.
Is this with or without notes?
This is with.
Hey, you just have to ask.
We'll make it with.
You can use notes.
You can use your notes.
Should have been guinea pigs.
What?
The guinea pigs. The guinea pigs? Yeah.
You want to be the guinea pig? You can change your mind. I'm not totally set on these names here, guys. I don't care what you are.
Oh, God.
I remember like psychologist.
I'm getting there.
I like him. I thought that was funny.
I actually thought it was hilarious too, but that's okay. That's all right. All right. Okay, so question. These may or may not be on the final exam. Some of them are, some of them are not. So, giving you a little bit of a help and a heads up. All right, in the immune system. Let's see. Who's gonna start?
Are we just shouting out?
Well, no. Each team gets a turn, and then if you get it wrong, the other team gets to steal. So,
Double points.
we'll flip a coin. You guys start. All right. Okay, so question number 1. What is innate? Give me an example of innate immunity.
Saliva tears.
Saliva and tears.
Okay.
Okay? That is an example. All right, now somebody else on the team, explain to me why it's innate.
Because you're
Why is it innate immunity?
It's not specific.
You've always had it.
It's passive.
It's not something that you form because you've been exposed to anything. It's something you have.
That's what I'm looking for, is that it is passive. It is not in response to anything. Okay, so 1 point for you. I know. And these questions are kind of all over the place, so. Okay. What? See, okay, so the other team, team 2 here. I'll get it. Oh, seriously, come on, you dumb thing.
Now that's lab.
All right, team 2, define immunity. And you can't say it means being immune to something. What you need, hon? Sure.
Should be resistant to an infection.
Okay. That works. All right. I'm getting there.
And a double.
What would we test for to this team? Your follow-up question. What do we test for to see if you are immune?
Titer.
What type of titer?
IgG.
An IgG titer. Okay. We'll go with one on these. All right. We'll just go back. We'll keep up on the definitions. Somebody over here define chemotaxis.
Their migration of cells toward the site of an injury.
Okay.
Or cytokines.
Okay, well, that was going to be their question, but all right. Okay. So this team, define diapedesis.
It's the movement of cells from the bloodstream through the vessel wall into position.
Okay. What type of cells are going to move out? Neutrophils and monocytes. Okay. Okay, between you, and you can't all keep answering, you gotta have shared, take turns. The 4 basic indicators of inflammation. Pain,
Redness, swelling, heat, and pain.
redness, swelling, and heat. Okay. What proteins are elevated in inflammation? I want the class, not the list of them, but just what overall we call them. What proteins are elevated in the inflammatory process?
C-reactive proteins.
That is one example, but what do we call that class of proteins?
Acute phase.
Acute phase reactant proteins. Okay. CRP complement. What? Our point. Don't forget my point. I'm sorry. Yes, you have to keep up on me. I'm really bad with the point scoring. I ought to get one of the 2 clicker counters and use that. All right, let's move on to the next one. As you can tell, there's not going to be a ton on the test on that PowerPoint. All right. Hello. Where are we? Okay. Give me 3 traits of a good antigen. This was a really highly missed question on that test. So give me 3 traits of a good antigen. Size,
Composition and complexity.
complex,
And if it's unlike the host.
and foreign. Foreign, very good. Okay, that's 3. All right. I'm going to make you guys come up with 5. Sorry. What are the 5 types of antibodies?
Oh, I gained.
Each of you give me one. Let's go with that. Leah, give me one type of antibody.
Would this be like the? Sorry, I don't know.
They're just the letters. IG.
Oh, IgM.
IgM. I know you know what it is.
I'm just confused.
You're making it too hard. You're making it way too hard. Okay.
Got this, Leah.
M G
Or is it E?
E
E.
B A. Okay. All right. What is an immunogen?
Hmm?
What is an immunogen?
Ooh, saw that.
Kind of an antigen, right?
It's a type of an antigen.
Causes the immune response.
It's an antigen which makes the body mount an immune response. Okay? Over here, what is epitope? Or determinant, they're the same thing, but what are
The
they?
antigen that is recognized as an immune response.
It's the part that the immune system responds to.
It's the very tip of it on the line.
Right. Okay. What is a hapten?
A
a small particle
Small
that
antigen.
can't,
Must combine with the carrier to
in
initiate
order
a
to
response.
have it.
Okay, we got it all between you here. It is a small particle that has to combine with a carrier in order to be an antigen. Okay?
My nuts.
All right. What is an autoantigen?
The antigen belonging to the host.
An antigen that already belongs to the host. What is an alloantigen?
From another host species.
From another, yeah.
Another member.
No, not an allo is from
Same species.
same species. Same species. What is a heteroantigen? From a different species.
Was HIV considered a hetero?
Yeah, it's viruses don't really fall under that. Yeah, they're kind of their own thing. All right, we're going on to the MHC. The MHC is the major histocompatibility. Okay. What is the? Let's see how I can ask this. What's the other name for MHC antigens? HLA. Okay. What cells monitor the MHC? Which cells monitor the MHC antigens?
Talking about specific class or?
You said
Helper cells?
the helper cells and
The, cytotoxic.
and the cytotoxic cells, exactly. Okay. Over on this side, what? Well, that was going to be their question. Good. What CD markers do we find on helper cells and cytotoxic cells? 4 and 8. All right. Which? Huh?
I was still waiting for Tashawn to finish. Sorry.
It's okay. They're taping
Tashawn's
it.
still in there. Yeah.
Okay. They're taping it, and she's right. We can't keep waiting because if we don't get going, we're not gonna have anything done. All right. So you are on team 2.
Okay.
You're on team 2.
Or dominate.
We could not find a good name. We are.
They're the lab rats. You're team 2. Okay. All right. Whose turn? You guys are up. Which cells have MHC1 presenters? MHC1 are on which cells? All nucleated cells. Tishawn, you're over there. You're on the lab rat team. Okay. Which cells have MH2? Which cells have it? Lab rats. Which cells have MH2? Macrophages, monocytes, and B cells. I think I need to start making these a little harder. All right. What? I gotta word this properly.
Don't start making them harder on our team, yes, it.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how to word this. What types of cells would be recognized by the CD4, CD8 cells if an abnormal MHC1 antigen were presented? Where does it come from? Is it
Internal?
internal? So the cell itself is affected.
Yes.
Okay. Right. What about where do the antigens that present on the MH2 cells come from?
Yeah.
The exogenous or from cell vomit. Okay. When they're done eating, they excrete them. Okay. Which cell do MH1 antigens present to? Wrong. You guys can steal. CD8. Okay. So which cells do MH2 present to? The way I remember it,
Hey.
oh, wrong one. Sorry. You owe me one. Okay, you guys got to answer another question. All right. Okay. You all get exposed to my lovely drawing ability here.
Diane,
Yes.
never mind.
Did I get it backwards? I actually don't think so,
What was
B.
the question that you asked us?
Which cells recognize MHC1 antigens?
So it would have been CD8.
CD8. The way I remember is that the higher they're opposite. MHC1 gives it to the higher number, and MHC2 gives it to the lower number. Don't ask me why. That's just what sticks in my head.
I was just doing how they multiply to 8. 1 times 8 equals 8. 2 times 4. There we go.
That works too. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm stealing that. And I guess I shouldn't have labeled these because I could have asked those, but okay. Who's up? You guys? What is this? Disulfide bonds. Okay, now we're even. Okay.
No, I couldn't see what you were talking about.
Okay.
Like the little things in the middle?
This right here, lab rats, what is this? The heavy chain. Okay. Making this what? The light chain. Okay. So we're on our antibodies here. Which molecule is this? Which type of immunoglobulin is this? IgG.
Which side are we on?
Your question now. If I put 5 of these together, which antibody would it be? We're making it more difficult now. If I turned this and made a slant bond on the disulfide bond that is here on between the heavy and light chain, which antibody is it? IG what? IgD. Okay, are you ready? What happens if I put an extra piece, an extra monomer, on the bottom of this? Which one is it? Final answer?
You're voting E.
You're voting E. Okay, good. All right. A is the dimer, which was going to be their question, but okay, we'll move on. Okay.
I think we should do an extra point then, since I'm anticipating your answers.
Okay. The heavy, the light chains. There are 2 types of light chains. What are they?
The heavy chains, gamma and epsilon. The heavy chains.
Right, I want the light chains. What are the light
Light
chains?
chains are
Kappa
kappa.
and lambda.
Kappa and lambda. Okay. Let's move on to function. You guys, you up? Okay. Which is the first responder? IgM. Which antibody is responsible for passive immunity in secretions? IgA. Okay. Which antibody is active in hypersensitivity reactions? IgE. Okay. Which antibodies fix complement? There's 2 of them. IgG and IgM. Very good. Okay. This is an easy one. What does IgD do? And I don't know. What might it do? Oh, it has all kinds of options for what it might do. But what does it actually do? I don't know. But we can measure it, so it's got to be there, right? And we're sure it has. It's found on the surfaces, so it probably has some role in sensitizing B cells, but... Okay, we all know that to make a monoclonal antibody, we put it in a vat. What type of cells are in my vat? More specifically. We all know that we make monoclonal antibodies by putting them in a vat. What type of cells are in the vat?
B cells and plasma cells.
But what are they specifically called? Okay. Well, nobody may get a point off it. That's okay. You guys can steal. What kind of cells do we use to make
Hybridoma cells.
hybridoma cells?
Hey. I just remember.
What is
Hybridoma cells.
Hypoderma.
Hybrid.
Is it hypergama?
Nobody knows.
Where's that at? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'll get it said.
Then why didn't you answer it?
Because I couldn't remember the word, but she says it all the time.
Oh, hybridoma.
Oh,
Okay.
A hybrid oma cell. Hybridoma cells. All right. Got through a couple of them here. Now let's move on to complement, because we all love complement. It's our favorite, isn't it? Okay. Name the 3 pathways by which complement can be activated.
classical,
Alternative.
And lectin. Classical, alternative, and lectin. In the classical pathway, what is the activation method? The antigen antibody complex activates the classical pathway. What activates the alternative pathway? The infectious agent itself. You do not have to have the antigen antibody. It's almost kind of a spontaneous thing. What sugar is involved in the lectin pathway? Mannose. Okay. What do we, all right, once we activate the pathway, we move on to, let's see how to, what does activating the pathway do? Yeah, I'm having a hard time asking this. Okay, what role do C2, C3, and C4 play?
they just activate
They get split.
Recognize company and
We'll go with that. That was a bad question. I'll give you guys an equally bad question, then we'll be fair, okay? Whatever you answer is probably going to be right here. Which, I know what I'll ask. Which components hook together when we split C2 and C4? Because C3 splits C2 and C4. Okay. When we split C2 and C4, which fractions hook together in the activation unit?
Don't say that.
In the activation unit, I wish I had my picture.
Yeah, did you ever print that off for us?
No, I don't think I did. You know what?
Can you?
Watch this. This is going to be like instant gratification. So we're going to go right here. I am going to go find, didn't I put the new one up? Yes, I did. Oh, seriously. It's worse than having a cat.
I think we really went in last week. It just was like 3 years.
Oh, that's true.
Take one down and pass them around. It's okay. Start passing these dudes. Should be one for everybody, including me. I want to go over complement again just because this is a very confusing. Okay. So your answer to your question?
Diane, did you put one off for Lorian too?
Yes, I did.
I'm missing both days.
Are we short one?
Did we run out of paper?
Who doesn't have one?
Leah?
I have
Leah
one.
got one?
Leah's got one. Yeah, this one's Lorian's.
I thought you said you needed one.
I have one. I pulled mine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on the overhead. So the answer to your question is C4B, C2A. So 2A and 4B combined together. Okay? So we have the antigen antibody complex on the microbe that activates C1 in the classical pathway. The classical pathway, then in the classical pathway, this is what we call the C3 activation unit. Okay? So the C3 activation is this combination of 2A, 4B. Okay? Those come down and cleave C3. In the alternate pathway, this BPD, that is our C3 activation. Activator. Okay? So whichever way we start, the thing we have to do is we have to activate C3. C3 cleaves off and the B component goes in. So we have 4A, 2B, and 3A left over. What do these guys do?
They become chemotaxis and get histamines to be released.
They're not chemotactic. This is out to the whole group.
Is that the MAC thing? Or no, that's the...
Nope, this is the MAC. We'll get down to that in a minute.
With the basic-
These guys, it's opsonization. Okay? I'm sorry, back off. It's not opsonization. B is opsonization. What do these guys go hook to? Basophils and mast cells. Okay? Basophils and mast cells. So my extra pieces go off and these guys go over here and they hook onto my mast cell
To release histamines, right?
to release histamines and heparin
For the vasodilator.
that cause vasodilation. Exactly.
So that box right there that has a number 1
Yes. Okay. Okay. But they go over here and they hook onto this guy. Then our 3B comes down here and we hook 5 and 5, 6, 7, and 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 They all come together. This is the MAC, the membrane attack complex. And what does the membrane attack complex do? How? It physically goes into the membrane and tears a hole. This is not a chemical channel that is open. This is a structural hole. What goes through the hole? Water. Causing what? Okay? Causing lysis. Okay, now we're,
Real quick, Jean said that whoever doesn't go to see her before we are done with the review, she'll just do tomorrow. So when we're done, she said we're done. I mean,
Okay.
up to you, but
Okay,
she said
yeah.
everyone else can go tomorrow.
so when we're done with, so if you guys just want to go, we can just hang into this for a little bit and then head home? Okay. How many people still have to go talk to
Yeah.
Jean?
She said she'll just do it tomorrow. She'll be here.
And I have to go back.
And you, oh God, we
So I
still,
was like, you might want to go tomorrow.
yeah, we'll finish
If
up
nothing
tomorrow.
else, I'll just go after I take my test. 'Cause
Yeah, that would probably be best. All right, we'll do that after you take your test tomorrow. If you haven't already talked to Jean, go down and talk to her. Okay. We'll see how many we can get through. You are good. And obviously, you're a good girl. You got your little halo. That or you're a lost cause. I don't know which way it goes. So. All right. Anything else here I feel like I need to bring up? Okay, what is the principal regulator of the classical pathway? Yours, lab rats. What is the principal regulator of the complement pathway? Of the classical complement pathway.
The C1 esterase.
The C1 esterase, and specifically the C1q esterase. Let me make this wider again. All right.
Oh,
Yeah, C1q esterase. Okay, you guys, team 2. What happens if complement is allowed to continue unregulated? Tissue damage. Which is why long-term inflammatory conditions can cause problems for people. Okay? Which components of the complement system do we measure directly most commonly? There's 2 of them. What's the most common 2 that we measure? C3 and C4. We directly measure those. Okay. What does CH50 measure? It's called a total complement, but that's not really. What does CH50 measure? Team 2. See if they've been paying attention. That's how it's measured, but what is it measuring? Function. Total function. Okay. So the CH50 assay is a functional assay. The C3, C4 are quantitative assays. Okay. Wasn't that fun and exciting? No.
Is that all for complement?
That's all for complement.
God.
There's actually a lot more for complement, but you know, that's all we're going to go over.
Thank you.
That pretty much finishes off. Oh, nope, we got one more to do. Everyone's favorite cytokines. Okay. Cytokines. What is a cytokine? Okay.
And it produced the cells other than lymphocytes.
Okay. Cytokines are messengers that are produced to talk to other cells. What is a lymphokine?
They just talk to lymphocytes.
They only talk to the lymphocytes. Okay? There's a whole bunch. There's 1, 2, 6, 11, 14 that are a whole bunch that we're not going to ask for that one. Which lymphokine is responsible for inhibiting viral infection? The ability of a virus to infect a cell. Interferon. All right.
Isn't that a cytokine?
Yeah, it's a cytokine.
It's a cytokine. I'm sorry. I said lymphokine, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Extra point.
Extra point. Okay. T cell growth factor. What's its other name? Interleukin 2. Okay, this is one of those places where if you have a lot of time left over when you're studying for the boards, go really rack your brains on this. Otherwise, interferon and interleukin 2 are the only two I've ever heard of that were on the boards at all. Knowing what a cytokine is and what the difference between a cytokine and a lymphokine is, that's important. Knowing what each and every one does, not particularly. Name one colony, lab rat, you're up. Name one colony stimulating factor.
EPO.
Erythropoietin, EPO. Team 2, name another one. Yeah, CSFG, CSFM, yeah. Don't make it too tough there, okay? What do lab rats, what do colony stimulating factors do? They what? They're messengers, but I need something more specific. They stimulate colonies. You need to be more specific.
Stimulate production of red blood cells for EPO.
That would be EPO, and then the other ones would be other
Other cells.
hematopoietic cells. They stimulate the differentiation of stem cells into specific hematopoietic cells. Okay, so thrombopoietin, erythropoietin, CSFG, etc. All right.
Are there S's on the front?
No, totally, totally the other. Okay. Scantron. Whatever that other multiple choice thing. Yeah, I'll have some true false, maybe some matching.
Is it good to study your past tests?
I don't honestly know.
So you're still making it.
How's that? I don't honestly. I'm using genes tests, so with minor modifications. But the test, this week's test, I'm writing from scratch. But the other ones have all been genes tests, and it's her final. So, with minor modifications.
Yeah, so study the test.
Okay, I would say whatever her. Yeah. What is lag phase? As an antibody response.
That's our first exposure.
The time after exposure. Okay, you're done. Why is lag phase important in secondary exposure? Is it longer or shorter than primary? It's shorter. Okay. Okay. Okay, that gets us through the immune system. Okay. That gets us through the immune system itself. We're going to go on to the next piece. Do you feel that you need more time with disease states or more time with testing? Because what's that?
Disease state.
Disease states. You think more is time with disease states? So you want to go to that next? Okay. We can start with the viral diseases and move backwards. Although I think we've kind of reviewed those several times already. I think I was fairly blatant this morning. I won't say best. So let's move on to disease states. Okay. Let's start. We're going to start with immunodeficiency. Somebody on the lab writes define immunodeficiency, and you can't say it means deficient immune. You're going to have to speak louder, honey. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Immunodeficiency, just define it.
The inability to fight off.
There you go. the inability to fight things off. Okay. In a patient who is immunodeficient, what symptoms am I going to see? What is going to lead me to look for that? Recurrent infections. They don't get better. Okay. What is immunocompromised? What is the difference between immunodeficient and immunocompromised?
Your immune system's already being used by a current condition, and so you don't have anything left to fight other.
Perfect. That's exactly what it is. Is that your immune system is not unable, it's just either overwhelmed or suppressed. I'm going to make you guys come up with a bunch because that was a hard question. So you guys got to come up with a bunch of answers. Give me at least 5 conditions that would immunocompromise a patient. Steroids?
AIDS?
What?
AIDS?
AIDS?
Could you HIV too?
No, because what is it?
Lupus.
Lupus.
Mono.
Not so much mono. Not so much hepatitis.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
No.
Current bacterial infection.
No. How about who would be on immunosuppressive drugs?
Oh, transplant patients?
Transplant patients. And there's one more major one. This is not in your notes, that's why we're going over it. Hint, there's a question on the test. Cancer patients.
Oh.
There's a question on the test, which of these disease states would lead to an immunocompromised state? Ta-da, you got one right.
So it was steroids, AIDS, lupus, transplant, and cancer.
Yeah, those are the most common ones.
I think we're all
Okay. Immunocompromised is cancer, transplant patients, HIV, autoimmune. Which one did I miss? What was it? Which one did I miss?
I have AIDS, cancer, transplant, lipids, and steroids.
Okay, those are the big ones, so, yeah. But it's going to say which of these would not cause anything, would not be considered immunocompromised. Okay. So would a patient who has an immunodeficiency be considered immunocompromised? They're immunodeficient. Okay. It's a question on the test, or I can throw away the question, whichever way you want. Since I just gave you the answer, do you want me to leave it there? All right. I'm not going to, the categories of immunodeficiency, we're going to go back and forth. There's 4 of them. I believe you guys are up.
No, they just went.
They just went. No, you just went.
No. They just gave you the 5.
They gave me the 5. I got to give them their point. Okay. There are 4 categories of immunodeficiency disease. Don't make these harder than they are. Immunodeficiency of humoral. Okay, there's one. You guys, the next one.
Cell mediated.
Cell mediated. Complement. There you go. I said don't make that one hard. The same questions that were on the test before will be the same ones that I would ask as far as the disease states. Okay. This one is sex-linked and leads to a, I know it doesn't, sex-linked doesn't really mean anything, but lack of circulating B cells with a deficiency of all classes of immunoglobulins. Brutons. Okay. What is the most common immunodeficiency? IgA deficiency.
And it's still not common, it's just the most common.
It's the most common, but it's still not particularly common. Okay?
Have you given
Wait.
us that test back? This one?
Yeah.
Test what?
Didn't I?
We just took it Monday.
We just took it Monday. Did you give it back?
Oh, no.
No, I did not. No, I did not. I still have it in here. Okay. This is a group of related diseases that affect both T cells and B cells. Severe combined immunodeficiency. SCID. Yep, SCID. All right. Which disease state is a lack of antimicrobial action in neutrophils? Their lysozymes don't work. Chronic granulomatous disease. Okay, for a bonus. Ready? For a bonus. And you'll never remember, but we'll throw it out there anyway. What is another lysozyme disorder of neutrophils? This is from way back in hematology. Anybody else remember the big, ugly, bruised-looking neutrophils? What were they called? C. Shidai Tagashi.
Sure.
I told you it was a bonus. That's why it was a toss-up bonus.
Wasn't that a name for something else?
Gaucher syndrome, is that the same thing?
The what?
Wasn't there like a layman's term for that?
No.
Okay, never mind.
No, Shidai Kagashi is just Shidai Kagashi.
What was the thing though? There was something about it. There was something about that disease that would help us remember what was it.
I
It
just
didn't work, but
it obviously didn't, I just say it always looks like it's bruised, like it's got purple and blue and yellow granules.
Oh, Barney?
No, I don't think it was Barney.
Is it obviously different from a cytotoxic?
Yeah. They're very, very distinct.
Barney was like blue and green, right? The purple
Those are
and
the
green.
dyes.
The Bellcrest all
Oh,
over.
dyes, okay.
Okay, that was fun.
wasn't that was that the albino one?
Yeah, they are albino. I was thinking something. I was thinking something with the cell itself.
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go through the immunoproliferatives, then I'm going to go to my series of test questions that I have that may or may not be up on the exam. Okay. Not necessarily.
70%.
I started making a trivia game for this and I haven't gotten through it yet. So it just means I don't have them all done yet.
I thought you were using Gene's though.
I am using Gene's test,
Oh, but you're changing it.
but I'm creating a review. I can't do everything every year. I pick one thing to do each year. And this year I'm trying to create a review for next year. What's the difference between leukemia and lymphoma? Yeah, see, look at that. I love it in chorus there. Okay. Which virus is associated with a number of lymphoproliferative diseases, including Burkitt's lymphoma?
Multiple myeloma? Or, Epstein-Barr?
Epstein-Barr.
Sorry.
Elishma said it first, so I'm going to take her answer. Okay. All right. In multiple myeloma, what paraprotein is secreted? Don't make this harder than it is, boys and girls.
IgG?
It was a plasma cell.
You're all working right
was an
around
M
it.
protein.
Leave off the G.
IgM?
No, leave off the M.
Immunoglobulin.
Immunoglobulin. It can be any of them. We can have an IgG. We can have an IgE.
Oh, I see.
You can have an
Okay,
IgE.
there it is. Yeah,
Okay.
most common.
All right.
But the most common is IgG.
The most common is IgG.
This
If it is IgM,
but
what is it called? Waldenstrom's what? Macroglobulinemia. It is a macroglobulinemia, and you're right. Waldenstrom's is the most common of those. Okay. And if you guys don't, yeah, if you don't know, okay. What test do we use to test for multiple myeloma? In where?
The urine?
In the urine. Okay, you're done. You've got yours. What other test do we use to test for?
Screening or
Confirming.
confirming?
IFE. And by now I would think you got that one. You're going to have a spike in what region? What happens to the bones in multiple myeloma? They get like Swiss cheese. They get holy. Okay? Lytic lesions. And those are going to be found on x-ray.
That's usually how they find it too, right?
Frequently.
Did you want somebody else to go?
Yeah, let's have at least one more go. Because we've got a lot to do tomorrow too. Okay, let's see. What's that? We already did that one.
I don't know.
The other disease state, the one that we did not go through very well when we were on this last test, like, because somebody, like, forgot to put it on there. Hypersensitivity. I want to make sure we get through that one at least today. Hypersensitivity, especially since there are no test questions on this one. So we want to hit to type hypersensitivity. Okay, we're going to answer this question, but Jane getting points for it, and you're going to take turns. List the types of hypersensitivity. What's the first one? Yay! That one was hard, wasn't it? Okay. All right. Which one is delayed hypersensitivity for? Okay. What mediates type 1 hypersensitivity? What mediates type 1? IgE. Okay. Give me an example of a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. An inhaled allergen. Okay. You've got an inhaled allergen. How about give me an example of an ingested
Cow's
milk?
milk.
Okay. Give me an example of an injected insect venom, like a bee. Would okay, now this is just a thrown out there to everybody. Would a snake bite be a hypersensitivity reaction? No. It's either a neurotoxin or a hemotoxin. So just because it injects venom, but that is not considered a hypersensitivity. It is not IgE mediated. It's actually complement mediated.
Because of clotting factor.
Ooh, that sounds like a good bonus question. Probably not for you guys, but moderation. Okay. Whose turn? Are we on the lab rats? It's you guys? Okay. Give me an example of a type 2 hypersensitivity. A transfusion reaction. A type 2 hypersensitivity is one where you have an antigen antibody complex formed, neutrophils bind to and phagocytize. Mostly it's red cells. It can be other things, but for the most part, when we talk type 2 hypersensitivity, we're talking to exposure to red cells. Okay? It also could be involved in transplant. Okay? But most commonly it's a transfusion reaction or hemolytic disease. Okay. We'll come back to that one later because that's on another thing. All right, type 3 hypersensitivity. Give me an example. Lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, any of your autoimmunes are considered type 3 hypersensitivity reactions. Okay. So you would need to be able to match up type 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what's an example of type 4? Sorry, we're up to you guys. Poison ivy. Okay. Or PPD. There's a bunch of them. Okay.
Yeah, but it's up there on the other one.
Okay. All right. So you'd need to match those up. That would probably be a matching question. But remember on the final what it'll probably be. If it's not directly matching, it may be. You're going to watch for those sets of questions that have the exact same answers. Those are usually matching just in an elongated form.
So hypersensitivity sounds process. Oh,
Final.
that's fine.
That's on the final. Okay. But you need to be able to differentiate between the different hypersensitivities. Okay, who's up? I think it's you guys' turn. Which hypersensitivity are we testing for with the wrist and the RAST test? I've heard 1, 2, 1, 1. All right, looks like we go with 1, which is correct. Okay. Which type of hypersensitivity are we going to be testing for or uses the principle of PPD? PPD would be an example of what type of hypersensitivity test? Which category? TB test.
Oh, 4.
TB skin test.
4.
Okay. Sounds like another bonus question. What's a PPD?
Right.
Okay. Stop. I will not give you my email. You cannot have it. Keeps wanting my email. All right. The last set of disease states to go through is autoimmunity. I'm going to warn you up front, just like before, you're going to need to be able to match up which disease state goes with which target organ. Okay? So, let's just go through a few of these. I'll bring this over here. and I'll ask them both ways. Graves' disease, what is the target? Which is kidney? Which one hooks up with kidney? Good pastures. Name one of the systemic. What about Hashimoto's? Cushing. Cushing. Is it not on the list?
She's on there.
Okay, that's the adrenal. Okay, that's the
Is it the
adrenal gland.
Kaha and Waha?
Huh?
Is it the Kaha?
No.
Is that Addison's?
Oh, you have Addison's, not Cushing's.
Cushing's on there for adrenal.
Okay, you have Addison's, not Cushing's. Okay, sorry, I went the wrong way. So I'll give you another one because that was not a fair question since it's not on there. Which one is gastric parietal cells? Pernicious anemia. Which one is the RBC membrane? Hemolytic anemia. Which one targets the pancreatic beta cells? IDDM, insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. Which one attacks and leaves lesions on the central nervous system? That's MS. That's the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Is rheumatoid arthritis systemic or specific? Systemic. What is the root cause of autoimmune disease?
The body just sees itself as a foreign.
The body sees itself as foreign. What tests do we use to screen for autoimmune? What test do we use to screen for autoimmune? What is it? ANA. What did you call it?
I kept on saying Anna, but that's how I say it in my head.
ANA, okay, yeah, ANA. Okay, yes, ANA. Okay, let me give you guys a question. What dye do we use for ANAs? Do you remember? Fluorescein. Okay. You're not supposed to answer their questions. All right. Toss up bonus question. What type of cells are on the ANA slide? No.
Oh,
You mean all the different.
Nope, that's the patterns. What type of cells? Oh, well, I guess I'm just gonna leave that one and that's gonna be a bonus question.
They have a nucleus.
They have a nucleus, yes they do.
It's not the organism, right? It's a cell.
No, that's only for the double-stranded DNA. All right, we have 4 patterns that are on an ANA. Give me one of them, lab rats. What are they?
What was the question?
Did you find the cell?
I think so.
What is it?
Is it the nuclei that have 2 cells?
Yes. It's human epithelial cells. They're cloned human epithelial cells. Bonus. So, bonus. All right. Name one of the 4 major patterns. Homogeneous. Okay. Name another of the 4 major patterns. Speckled. One more. Centromere and rim. Okay.
Isn't there 5?
Yeah. Nucleolar is the other one. Okay. I always forget about rim because I've never seen one. Okay. List one disease that is identified by a homogeneous pattern. Lab rats, you're up. RA or lupus, you gave me 2. Okay. Guys, which disease are we looking for when we see a centromere pattern? Scleroderma. What antibody do we look for as diagnostic of drug-induced lupus? Antihistone or single-stranded DNA. Okay. What antibody do we look for as diagnostic of scleroderma? SCL70.
No, I'm looking at the slide.
Trying to think of what is.
Just on the last.
My brain is just really fried. I'm trying to think of some of the others. I think those are the big ones. Patterns. I think there's time for one more person to go.
She said whoever wants to stay can stay and go. So she said she's gonna be here a bit.
Yeah, she's gonna be here a bit. See if I can get. I can't. Okay. What group does lupus affect most commonly? What group does lupus affect most commonly? Women 20 to 40. Okay. What is the characteristic physical symptom that we see in patients with lupus? The butterfly rash. Okay, we're going to go with a couple true and falses. True or false? All lupus patients have a positive double-stranded DNA.
Say what?
True or false? Lab rats, you're up.
Okay.
True or false? All lupus patients have a positive double-stranded DNA. False. That is correct. That is correct. Why is it correct?
She just said it.
What is it?
The drug induced lupus, they would have seen.
Right, they would. But the other reason is, does everybody who has lupus give you a positive reaction? No. There are people who have lupus who do not exhibit the antibody. The same with any of these disease states. There are patients with these diseases who do not exhibit the antibody we're looking for.
How do you know?
Clinical. They go by clinical symptoms. That, you know, okay, if I've got the butterfly rash and all of the other symptoms, I'm going to see a change in my CD4, CD8 ratios and everything else. Even if I don't have the double-stranded DNA antibody, I'm going to call it based on clinical symptoms. Okay. It may be that you have a different anti-nuclear antibody that we just don't test for or can't find. All right, true or false? When looking for rheumatoid factor, we are looking for anti-human IgG. Rheumatoid factor is anti-human IgG.
False.
Rheumatoid factor is an antibody against human IgG. All right. What is the most common treatment historically for autoimmune diseases? Steroids. Toss up bonus question. Well, I gotta get you guys a question first. Hold on. Okay. What is the newer test for rheumatoid arthritis? What is the newest testing methodology for rheumatoid arthritis? The anti-CCP. Toss up bonus question. What type of salts were used to treat rheumatoid? Gold salts. This side actually got it out faster. Tiana said it. She's just very quiet little thing. So Yeah, she had it out before the question was actually finished. Okay.
See, then that doesn't count. You can't answer it before the question's done.
I also answered it.
Yeah, I know you did too, but she actually got it out first. Why would I? Okay, we're just going to call this a tie and go to the overall, couple of overall questions. Get through these and go home. Okay. Why would I monitor these disease states, autoimmune disease states, with a CRP?
See if the active, not, it's not infection, but current
If you've got a flare up,
inflammation.
if it's current inflammation, okay, and CRP is an inflammatory. How fast does CRP come up after initiation of the inflammatory response? How quickly does it rise?
Very quick. Yeah, really quick.
Okay, I need give me something quicker, or give me something more
1 to 3
specific.
hours?
2 to 4 hours. How soon does it go down once the inflammatory reaction is over? Not quite that close. Within 48 hours. Okay. What other tests do we use that gives us an indicator of our inflammation?
Sed rate, we don't like
The SED rate. Nobody likes it. Nobody can get rid of it. Why is the CRP a better test than the SED rate?
because it's current.
It's more immediate. The SED rate takes longer to get up and longer to come back down. All right, I think that's got it for autoimmune. Let me see. We'll go with that when we go with testing. We've been through all the patterns. What antibodies do we see in Sjögren? SJORGENS.
SSA and SSB.
SSA and SSB. That's one that I did not note. All right.
Is that the one where people get swallowed?
What's that?
That's the one where people get swallowed.
No, that's myasthenia gravis.
It's a dryness of the eyes,
That was the, oh, the dryness, yeah.
Let me see which.
Yeah.
We've been over that.
MS and MG.
Don't know what that is and don't care. Just see. Well, we went through a lot of this. Acute phase reactant proteins. We talked about CRP. Name some other ones. Complement. What else? There's 2 more major ones. There's actually a bunch of. We've got CRP, complement. What else? What are the acute phase reactant proteins? Name them.
CR or something.
We got CRP. We got complement. What else?
I just saw it too.
Peptide is not. That was the wrong answer on that test.
Okay, that's alpha 1 anti.
Complement C.
Alpha 1 antitrypsin.
That's the word.
That's-
Hemoglobin, fibrinogen, ceruloplasm,
Ceruloplasm.
serum amyloid A.
Right. And ferritin. Okay. Fibrinogen. Why is it significant that fibrinogen is acute phase reactant protein?
Because it activates complement.
No. Why is it significant that fibrinogen is an acute phase reactant protein?
Because you want to see when it's clotting.
Not exactly. Because that means that an extended inflammatory response could lead to what? Thrombosis. Because fibrinogen is an elevated protein, an acute phase protein, extended inflammation can lead to thrombosis, including heart attack. We went over that. Cytokines, lymphokines.
I mean, the rest of it.
Which white cell is involved with hypersensitivity? These are good questions. Are all over the board here. So, what white cell is involved with hypersensitivity 1? Eosinophils. IgE and eosinophils make you sneeze.
From what?
I didn't know that question was on here. That's cool. We went over the 5 immunodeficiency tests, right? It looks like we have pretty much covered, at least in part, everything on those categories. Okay, so what we've talked about today is pretty much, I don't see anything on the test that we haven't covered. Okay, so we've covered pretty much everything on those categories. On the disease states, on the immune system itself. Tomorrow we'll do part 2. We'll keep the same teams. We'll keep going. So tomorrow, we can change teams. I don't care, whatever you want to do. We will go over testing methodology, and we will go over the other sets of disease states, i.e. what we're going to do for, first thing we're going to do for review for the final exam tomorrow is go over the answers to the test that we're taking tomorrow.
I thought your mulligans were for the test tomorrow.
What?
I thought the dates you were giving us were for the test tomorrow.
No, they're for the final.
Oh.
No, you said for tomorrow's test, not for the final.
This is,
That's better, isn't it?
no,
I'd
it's
rather
for
have
the
it
final. This is for the final. This is for the final exam. The stuff for tomorrow is what we
She's
talked
talking
about.
about, she's talking about the mulligans.
Oh, the mulligans are for the test tomorrow. So everybody's getting mulligans
Oh,
tomorrow.
right.
It was a tie.
Are there
Everybody's
47
getting
questions,
mulligans.
Or is there like 20? Like,
I'm thinking 3.
I mean, like, not mulligans, like, they're gonna be just like the past 2 tests, averaging 22 questions.
No, this one's
Like
gonna
50.
have a lot of matching, because I think I'm up to 40 multiple choice. And I
At
believe
least
there's
20 matches.
at least 20 matching, and probably 25 to 30.
Okay.
Are you done with
No,
our
that's
test
all the
scores?
studying I gotta do.
Are you ready to test for Monday?
For Monday,
The test we took on Monday.
yes,
Did you grade it?
yes, it
Just
is
give it
great.
back.
Okay, because you haven't given it
Yeah,
back.
okay, I will give it back.
Are we splitting up into 2 groups for our practical, or are we all doing it?
You're gonna split tomorrow practical. You're all gonna do it once. Sardines, because if you can do it with all of you in here, then we can figure out the best way to set up. But this, on Thursday, I keep saying Friday, it's Thursday.
Another coin, and then which side goes first? You've already got a split half. and
Well,
half.
no, we'll draw again. We'll just draw names to see. Yeah, we're gonna split up on Thursday. Half of you will come in and take the test. Half of you will come in and take the practical, and then we will switch, okay? And yes, I know, I gotta get the test. Here we go. And since all that was on here was multiple choice, and there is only one question that most everybody missed. Let me take a quick look and see what that was. Okay, nope, that one makes sense to be missed. You just have to write your test grades down unless you don't want the points for them. Well, I can absolutely guarantee it's better than 0. Everyone looks like they're hovering right about 80%. This test right here looks like everyone's hovering around 80. I mean, there are exceptions,
I
but
think we're doing all right.
I don't know. It depends on your definition of all right. I know some people who would not consider that acceptable.
For a test or two, I'll consider it over 74.
Ooh, we got a perfect score.
Average up.
I think that's the first one of those on one of my tests ever.
Borderline impossible. I don't get to know Puerto Rico's question.
Okay.
I had one next to my
Okay. We're going to hand the test back, then I'm going to hand the test scores. Tiana. Pass that back to Sean. Lorian. Jen. Pass this back to Katie. Pass this back to Krista. Nicole. Chris. Patricia. Elishaba. Amanda. And these aren't alphabetical. I don't know why. Drives me nuts.
I don't have yours on.
I don't have yours graded up.
Okay.
Because you took yours late and it didn't get up, so.
Okay.
My Lorian. I'm looking at Leah and I'm handing it to you. Patricia. Tiana. Nicole. Tashawn. Chris.
Yes.
I'm passing your paper back.
Thank you.
Jen. Katie. Krista. Elishaba. And Amanda. Okay? And your raw grade is your grade. What I'll probably do, since these are fairly decent grades overall, I'm going to make it worth, so there were 31 points on here. It's actually going to be worth 62, just to up the scores a little bit. So it'll be double, but your percentage will stay the same. Got that part? Okay. The percentage will stay the same. Okay. Questions? Everybody's good with
She
that?
said 21 and 23 were E.
21 and 23 were E. I gave you those answers on the board.
Hey, number not actually E.
Number
Oh, no,
4, we
I
got
put
Mark
it in just
Bell.
Number 4, I think the thing was all.
Because it was E, F, G, if the answer was E on your Scantron, but it was A is the answer.
Oh, is that what happened with that
Yeah.
one? Okay, I'll just give everybody points on that one. I'll just give everybody the points on that one. So just add a point to your grade.
Number 4.
Oh, number 4.
I only marked E 24.
Huh?
I always marked E on the Scantron.
Yeah, I know, and
You
that's,
got it.
yeah. I said something before the test, but some of you must not have heard me, so. Microsoft does that every once in a while. I haven't figured out why. I'll just be sitting there typing along and all of a sudden it'll do A, B, C, D, and then I'll go to the next question and it'll go E, F, G, H, and then I, J, K, L. It's like, who does this? So, all right. If you have any questions about tomorrow's test, please feel free to text or email me tonight. I will be around.
Are we seeing who's still?
Huh?
Are we doing seeing who's?
Do you want to split up who's going to do what when today?
Do it tomorrow.
We'll do it today. It won't take long. Hold on. We'll make a list. I gotta keep you in class some or Jean's gonna get upset.
Can we just volunteer?
How do you want to do it? As a class, you all decide. Do you want it assigned or do you want to volunteer?
Do we get to leave after, just out of curiosity, after?
Like, do we have to wait, like, if we do the practical first, or like take the test first, do we have to wait for the entire practical to finish, or can we come in and just start?
You have to wait for an open desk.
I guess we can't leave the window.
Yeah, we're doing.
We're going to Cutters afterwards. What we can do is this, because I don't want you all bumping into each other quite so much. What you can do is the first group taking the practical, the first person, as you're done with the exam, what you can do is the first person done with the exam, as soon as one person's done with the practical, the other person can come in. I don't want more than one per desk. Okay, so no more than 6 of you can be taking the practical at any given time. But as one person finishes, the next person can come in, because I can mark the time you start and then mark the time you're done. That's fine if you don't want to split it into 2.
Jean had us write our initials on the board.
Yeah, as soon
As
as
they
someone
came
left,
out.
we just scratched ourselves off and went, came on in.
We can do that. We can do
But
that.
who's gonna start with the practical, who's gonna start with the exam?
How do you guys want to determine that?
I don't care either way.
I like doing the practical.
I like doing the practical first.
Who wants to do the practical first?
I have a meeting at the hospital tomorrow.
Okay.
So you and Krista together because.
Well,
No, we're driving
it's on
separate.
Okay.
Thursday. This is Thursday.
I know, it's
Okay.
the Thursday, it's right after we finish.
So,
Then
so
you
you're
got
not gonna
6.
get to come to Cutters?
No, I'm afraid not.
Bummer.
They didn't have any other days available, so.
Well, when you get done, if you want to come over, we're usually still there for a while. All right, so that's 1. Who wants the practical? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't matter? You
It don't matter.
okay. All right, so you 6 are first on the practical. The other 6 are first on the exam. Then what we'll do is, as the first person finishes, where did she have you write your initials?
The board.
Just
In
the
the
board in
room.
that room?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do that. Did that work well? Is that acceptable for you all? All right, then let's do it that way. First person done with the test gets to take the first slot on the practical.
Diane,
Yes.
I talked to you about.
Okay, thank you. I forgot. I will add one to yours.
I just gonna put them there and I don't worry.
Okay.
So then it would be add 2 to mine, then, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this is Nikki's? Oh crap.
Oh, where's Nicole?